Rice is the staple food in the country of Laos, and it is part of breakfast, lunch, as well as dinner. But its importance goes beyond food, and it is also a part of the country's culture and rituals. Today we are going to spend a day looking at the life of a traditional Lao farmer, a rice farmer, and we are going to experience this ancient tradition of rice farming.
To start off, we purchased the tour tickets from an agency close to our hotel in Luang Prabang. We have linked their address in the description box below. The tickets are cheaper if you buy them this way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So it's 8 a.m. now and we're just getting fetched outside our guest house by a tuk-tuk, which is going to take us to the farm. So the farm is about 5 kilometers away. It shouldn't be too long a journey. It's a bit chilly this morning as it is cloudy, but we're feeling really excited. Through my many years of living in Asia, I've grown accustomed to eating rice with almost every other meal. But I had never known the long journey a single grain of rice makes to reach my dinner table as I wait to devour it. This was about to change today. The Living Land Rice Farm is an organic rice farm just outside the center of Luang Prabang. They farm rice in the traditional way as well as maintain an organic garden with vegetables and herbs. They also grow sticky rice for many families in the surrounding villages. Upon arrival, we were given traditional Lao rice farmer hats as we made our way to the farm for the day. To guide us through the different steps of rice farming, we had a local farmer who would be our guide for the day. He hails from a small rice farming village in the countryside, about 5 hours from Luang Prabang. He currently resides in the Living Land Rice Farm. First off, he introduced us to some of the traditional farming tools which have been used in Laos for centuries. They are made with materials such as wood, bamboo, and even coconuts. And of course, to control pests, they also have their own interesting traps.
When the rat can come in, we put more rice in the middle. The rat can come in both sides. 1, 2, 3 rats together. They start eating and dancing. Sing a song. When one rat step the small wood here. Yeah. Yeah, like it.
Alright, enough talk. Now it was time to head to the farm and get our hands dirty. Step 1 is all about making sure you choose the right grains to plant in the farm. This is a key step in order to ensure an optimal harvest, and they have an indigenous trick to figure out which grains are good. By placing the rice in a pot of salty water, they are able to determine which rice grains can be planted. Those which sink are good to plant, and those that float are instead used to feed the livestock and poultry. The next step is to plant the lucky seeds in the soil. First, the farmers make a nursery for the seeds by lifting up the soil so that it is above the level of water in the paddy field. Once you have this bed of soil, you sprinkle the seeds on top. These seeds take about 5 days to become seedlings and are left in the nursery for about a month before the next step. Once the farmers deem the seedlings strong enough to be planted, they then prepare the fields for plowing. This may involve clearing any weeds and ensuring that the soil is sufficiently wet or flooded to facilitate the plowing process. It is here that the farmer harnesses a water buffalo to plow. The plow is typically a simple wooden or metal device with a sharp blade that cuts through the soil.
If you want to work with water buffalo here, you have two words to control. To make her go forward, you said hui hui. And to make it stop, say you. Yeah. Usually, if the buffalo we all train, only one man holding the rope and holding the plow and control it.
So we have Susan behind us, the water buffalo that we are going to plow with now. This is the traditional form of plowing. Nowadays they have tractors, but before they just used a water buffalo, so they have Susan, which we're going to use today. It was now time to get into the mud and fully embrace being a farmer here. We realized that plowing the fields is a very difficult task and can only imagine how one single farmer usually plows the entire field with the buffalo. From one difficult task on to the next. After plowing the field, the farmers then move the seedlings from the nursery to the plowed field. They then plant each seedling in the mud by hand, at a hand's distance from each other. This can be an especially long process when the heat is excruciating. To pass the time, the farmers tell each other jokes and sing folk songs.
Ma be kha thai, lai khwa lung pong, ha kin yu tam ba dong, ma va kham long, pong oi na pai ha hyun. Good, yes, good.
Step 5 is to nurture the rice plants. This is done by managing the flow of water through little canals between the rice fields.
We all done this by hand. Even nowadays, we don't have machine for cutting. We use the sickle and many people. Like this, turn the sickle away from you and pull.
So after planting the rice, we then got to go and harvest some of our own rice. So we each got to cut some, and now we're going to go and put it out where I think the grains get separated from the straw part of it. But so far it's been a really awesome experience. It's been a lot of fun, really messy, but that's actually what makes it so much fun, is getting so messy. After putting our harvest down, it was now time for us to get clean. We gave ourselves a quick wash and made our way to the shed. Here we would learn to use bamboo, which is a common material used in Laos to make handicrafts. It was lovely to learn that the Living Land Farm supports children from poorer families with education and medical needs as well. In fact, if you want, you can volunteer to teach English to the kids here. They also support the village community by providing employment opportunities for those with low education levels or physical disabilities. We were also shown how farmers would utilize indigenous techniques to make a fire for melting metal, which they would then use to make into a sickle.
Like this. After we cut, we dry in the hot sun for 2-3 days, and then we bundle them. We have to thresh it.
Threshing the rice makes the stems let go of the rice grains. but it also leaves straw and rice husks everywhere. So the next step is to remove the empty grains and straw from the rest. Since these are lighter than the rice grains, the farmers then forcefully wave a big bamboo fan over the pile of grains to do this. Easier said than done. The rice is then put into bamboo baskets and transported to either the homes or storage. The main tribes of Laos, such as the Hmong and the Khmer and the Lao tribes, are known to carry up to 30 kilograms of rice per person at a time, and in their own distinctive ways. This is incredibly hard work, and some women have to walk for 5 or 6 hours to reach their villages. Traditionally, the next step of husking the rice doesn't involve machines. Instead, the farmers stomp on a long piece of wood that hammers the rice in a bowl made from stone. This removes the outer skin or husk of the rice grains. Again, looks easier than it is. Trust me, it was a full leg workout. After initially removing the husks, the farmers now have to separate the edible portion of rice from the remaining husk. The enterprising women in the region have devised a clever method using bamboo trays, skillfully tossing the rice into the air and deftly catching it. With practice, the husks are expelled and the nutritious grains gracefully return to the tray. This takes a lot of practice, but they say once you nail it, you are ready to be married. I nailed it, just saying. We were also shown how they use a traditional stone grinder to grind the rice to make flour. This flour is then used to make noodles or even rice crisps. Before cooking the rice, it is usually soaked overnight. 6 hours is actually enough, but overnight is better to get the optimal level of stickiness. The sticky rice is always steamed and not boiled. The steaming is done in bamboo baskets that sit over a pot of water on a fire. Instead of stirring, the rice is flipped through the air and skillfully caught in the bamboo basket to ensure even cooking.
Also, something interesting that we learned today is the reason why Lao people eat more of sticky rice than the normal rice. And he said that Lao people in general believe that sticky rice stays in your stomach for a longer time, and it's also richer in carbohydrates and it's easier to carry. So that is why it's more prevalent in almost throughout Laos.
On a side note, we also got to make our own fresh sugarcane juice from the farm, again using traditional tools.
Balances out it out, so it's not as sweet. Both ways are really good.
So to end off our experience, there is step 14, which is to eat what you have made from the rice. So we are going to go and try some local rice foods. So there's some sticky rice, some rice biscuits, and some rice snacks. And we're very excited to see what these are going to taste like. We've been seeing the rice snacks, like the rice cookie snacks, drying a lot. So now we finally get to try some.
How's it?
It's crispy. It's like sweet on the outside. Kind of like a dried cake. It's very sticky. That's quite chewy compared to normal rice. It's easier to eat than normal rice. In order to be able to show us every step of the rice farming process, a part of the field is cultivated in a rotation system. Every plot here is in another stage of the cycle, so you can experience every step no matter what time of the year you visit.
I've actually always enjoyed looking at farming practices wherever we go. My grandpa was a farmer, a paddy farmer as well. So it's quite interesting to learn about how farming practices vary in different kinds of countries. And also like the base of farming is always the same. And pretty much all the farmers have the same work ethic. They work very, very hard from morning to the night. And it's just makes you kind of appreciate them so much more looking at what they do throughout the day. It's really, really interesting to watch.
We received this beautiful memoir at the end of our experience, one that we will cherish for years to come. So we have just finished our rice farming experience now, and it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was so much fun, but also it was educational and very hands-on. We took part in all the 14 steps from planting the rice seeds to harvesting. So then it actually makes you appreciate like how hard the farmers work, because it looks very cool, but trust me, it's not easy. It's a very difficult job doing rice farming here. So we kind of have a better idea. We understand how the traditional practice of rice farming works in Laos. And yeah, it was really nice to spend a day understanding the farmers and their culture.
And it was really special getting to know that you get to learn about these farms in a place that gives back to the communities. So like this piece of land here, there's certain rice fields that are for certain families so that they have a piece of land where they can provide for their families. So it was just really nice knowing that you get to take part in something that plays a huge role in helping the community as well.
Yeah, I would say it's probably one of my favorite experiences in Laos. And if you come to Laos or Luang Prabang, we definitely recommend you to try out this experience, and we will link this experience down below, so if you want to go, you can check that out as well. If you love watching authentic travel content, then please consider subscribing to our channel. We have tons of new content coming up for you in 2024, and we post every week. Until next time, see ya and take care.